Check, mic check. Nervous.
About what?
I haven't done an interview in a long time. I was telling my wife, at least it's like a good friend of mine. Yo, this is like the first interview I've done in like 2 years, by the way. Isn't that crazy? Yo, what's up? It's Logic here with Nick Huff Barilli from hardknocktv, and you're watching the No Pressure interviews. This is the first time I'm ever doing like a showing of making a beat. Yeah. I've never done that. That's what's so funny. I see people on the internet be like, Logic's so slept on because he makes such crazy beats but never talks about it. Yeah. I kind of like that. I heard him say. This is Heard Him Say. This is one of the first beats I made. I think it might be the first beat I made for the album. And it's probably the best beat I've ever made, and I really love it. And as I said before, I had been listening to Manfred Mann for 10 plus years and listening to No ID, and me and Six have tried to chop 1 million Manfred samples, him more so successfully than me. And I'd always tried to do it, and then I finally feel like I got it right. And so this is, I'll skim through it.
We're all gonna live out the Hollywood dream. Everything's gonna be just what it seems. Gonna find a better way to run our cars all through the air. 'Cause the race is on, we're gonna land on Mars. I saw a kid with no smile on his face today.
So I took that specific section, okay, and then I chopped it in Ableton. So if you look, you can basically see all the specific chops of how it's laid out here. The first thing I wanted to do is get the timing. Now the cool thing about this is that the timing is off. So it's in a grid mathematically, but when you listen to the initial intro that I chopped up, it's completely off. Because it's like, I saw a kid with no smile on his face today. And it's just the actual BPM of the record, right? As opposed to me fitting it to grid at 87. 87's classic hip hop tempo. I mean, that's like Dead Presidents, Jay-Z, just so many. A lot of Premier was like 87. It was like kind of classic. So I took that, right? And then I literally put it in here in the grid so that I could play it. I actually did it on my MPC, so I'm doing this on the Ableton Push, but this is basically how it went, except it looked a lot cooler.
The MPC is packed away for the new home already.
For Montana. So it's like this. And you just have to hit it on time.
I saw a kid with no smile on his face today. Where is my place in this bright future? I heard him say.
So that's what it would sound like, but how I had to switch it was like, do it was like this. And then it goes into. I saw a kid with no smile. So when it's not programmed, it's obviously not as clean, right? And then, but what I had done is I had always loved that pattern. I mean, it's a pattern that's been done by 1 million people before, but obviously it's kind of immortalized with Kanye, right? Just that simple. Now, the thing that gives it, I guess, more of a Good Morning vibe, right, is the rim shot. But if you listen to the original, it's like it's more like a tom, would you say? It's like a what would you call it, Six? Because it's not a rim.
It's like more of like a percussion.
Yeah.
Conga kind of.
Yeah, like a conga. So, but this is like crazy rim. We love rims. Mainly just because of J. Cole and like snare hits, and then you hit the rim and like $1 in a dream.
But that's how you met Six, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We documented that before.
Yeah.
All over a J. Cole roll, snare roll.
100%. So I wanted to give it like a really good vibe. So I added that kind of. So I think it's less about the rim and it's more so about the pop with the verb at the end that kind of gives it that graduation feel. It's just classic. It's the go-to, right? Anytime I'm playing shit, like I just always do that.
It's crazy that when you hear that, you think Kanye, because when you play that, I think Neptunes.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, shit, that even furthers the fact, because that's grinding, right? So it's not even really Ye, but like I said, a million other people have done it, but that's a really big one. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's just classic.
So then I chopped up this hi-hat and just made it sound extra weird and crazy. Right? And then from there, I chopped up the sample. This is what the woman's saying.
I saw a kid with no smile on his face today. Where is my place in this bright future? I heard him say.
So she says, I heard him say, where is my place in this bright future? I heard him say. So it's basically about a kid who's fucking down on his luck. You know, he's not feeling good about himself. That's how I feel a lot of the time as an artist, not just because of rap and hip hop and circles, just as a human being. Like sometimes, yeah, you have those days where you're not smiling, you're not happy, and you don't feel good enough. And that's why I opened it with, she goes, I heard him say, you know, they say I ain't good enough, they say I ain't hood enough, even if I signed a Yeezy, then my homage, I still wouldn't be good enough. I heard him say, that boy different, don't fuck with him. But then she goes, so this is what I love. I manipulated her words that she's not even saying to have her say, I heard him switch up. I heard him switch up. And when I made the beat because I made the beat before I had written the raps, and I really took my time as we went through with this album. So I had this beat for like 2 months, dog. And I was just sitting on this beat, like kind of avoiding it because I knew how big it was gonna be. It was almost like 1-800, but of like pure rap shit. Like it was like, I knew it was gonna be this special moment, but I didn't want to force it and be like, oh yeah, my heart is on its edge and whatever fuck, right? I wanted it to really come out, and I was writing it in a car with Jordan, where I also wrote Aquarius 3, but that was like way later. So basically having her say those things, like she sees this kid, and I feel like I'm talking about myself, but in a way that can represent anybody who listens to it, and he's down on his luck, he doesn't feel good, he's not smiling, and then the shit drops. He says those first things kind of negatively about himself, but then she says, I heard him switch up. I heard him switch up. And that's how I chopped it.
I saw a kid with no smile on his face today. Where is my place in this bright future? I heard him say. This bright future. I heard him say. I heard him say. I heard him say.
So then it becomes, here, I'll do that more clean for the take.
I heard him say. I heard him say. I heard him say.
So I love that. It's like I heard him switch up. I heard him say.
How'd you get her to say switch up?
I just manipulated, like I was just chopping, and because it's different producers hear different things, you know, like Dilla, Primo, No ID, Ye, Six could all take a beat, a sample, and make all completely different beats, and all of them would be jealous of each other because it's that good and they're that good, you know. So when I did this, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a sample and I play. It's almost like a Fisher Price toy. Like it's like you're just a child and you get to try different shit. Like, so I could literally take this beat and do something totally different on the fly right now. Let's see. that's just like a really shit example. Also because this is how I used to make all my beats, right? Where it was, but now I make my beats in a way where basically if you look at this, it's called a drum rack, okay? So each of these sounds are triggered by one of these, right? If you see here, as I'm touching these pads, it activates the sound. And the only sound here is the kick and the snare on this one. Now, I used to produce all my beats and chop all my samples in a very annoying way, each individually into this, which is very reminiscent of the MPC. Because in the MPC, you have to, first of all, it's all ear. You don't really see anything besides the screen, that's the window. But you only get time, and you have to be on time. So it's like, let's say that's a second or just under a second. You have to then hit it mathematically.
I saw a kid with no smile on his face today.
And the thing that sucks about how I was making all my beats forever is if you press another button too quickly, it'll overlap. Now, No ID taught me some crazy shit that I'm not gonna give away, which is my special sauce. But basically, he taught me this crazy thing to do where basically in Ableton and through what I was using, I can trigger it to where it will stop it. It will choke the sample. So I could literally go in and hit it all of these a million times, and if I hit them on beat, I could interrupt the one before, but it's still on. And then also to the point where if I let go, the sample will continue playing to the end of it. It's really crazy. And I think I did that on a couple other beats, so I could probably show you there, but I won't show you how I did it. I'll just show you how I did it.
Secret sauce.
Yeah, secret sauce, as Dion would say. DOA, remember that? We were in the fucking basement. Anyway, so, that's kind of it, you know? But also then we have Kevin Randolph, we have Steve Wireman. Six, you played some shit on there, didn't you? Yeah, you know, you have these other incredible people who are coming in and laying like top line and, well, yeah, just like different melodies that blend all together to make it something really special. Could I do a whole album by myself? Yeah, but it's like, for what? You know what I mean? I could have the best of the best in the world, to me, work on my shit and make it better. For me, it's not, I made the beat. It wouldn't exist without me. So it's like that sense of ego is all I kind of need. It's like, yeah, I did that shit, dog. Now make it better, please. But to also acknowledge that it would not be as good as it is without the people that I love and work with is like very important. And a lot of people be trying to act like they do it all themselves and shit, and they don't really be doing it themselves. Some people do, and those motherfuckers are genius. But the thing is, it's like if I could do a whole, like I've made 1 million beat tapes and shit that's just, I don't know why I haven't released them out, yeah. But those are really dope ass beats, but it's like to what degree, you know, with some breaks and a little bit of bass and a sample and a this and a that. But if you want to make something real, like a masterpiece, magical, that's when you bring in masters of a guitarist, a pianist, like strings, choir, all that other shit to kind of do what you obviously cannot. But you can instruct them. That's the thing. You take those same people and you give them to another artist, whether it is a Ye or a Jay or a Cole or Kendrick, that artist has a style and they'll be able to tell them what they want from them, and it'll be completely different from me. So even though you have sonically the same musicians there with the same instruments, I might be like, oh, let's run that through a certain filter to make it distort or sound different or this or that. So that's the one thing that I really always love about not only hip hop, especially with producers who truly can produce shit out with other musicians, but it's what I love about like samples or redoing elevators or this or that, especially with the permission of, you know, the predecessors and the teachers that allowed me to use their sample and then but do it how I would do it.
At what point in your career did you get comfortable enough with knowing production where you can conduct other people or tell other people what you wanted from them?
From the jump. I don't know why or how, I just guess I had this thing in my head. There's a lot of things that I had to learn. It started with Six, so like Six came over the first time and we did one on Young, Broken, Infamous where we sampled Frank Sinatra. And it was him and OB when they were the Official and they were a duo group together. And I just remember being like, I was using this motherfucker like an NPC, right? You know, I was like, yo, dude, obviously he was killing it and doing his own thing, but every once in a while I'd be like, oh, can you like make this stutter? Like I didn't understand how to be like, yo, can you duplicate this 3 times or can you quantize the drums? I used to clown them. I'd be like, quantize, I didn't even know what it means. And then I'm up here like, hey, how do I quantize this? So it's pretty crazy, but yeah, from the jump. And then it just, I've always been very good at letting people know what I want. So, and doing it in a respectful way. I mean, we're always constantly saying please and thank you and oh, excuse me, or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Same with my engineer. It's just we are overly nice and kind to each other because, I mean, there's really no other way to work, you know? I couldn't understand. I've heard stories about certain people who are just like, yo, man, plug it in, play this, do it, like, and I'm just like, shit, like. But I have a family, that's the difference. Like, it's very rare that I work with, like, a one-off person, you know what I mean? Like, for example, the people that did the horns on Man I Is, like, that was the first time I'd ever worked with them, but I'm definitely gonna work with them again because they're so genius at what they do. Anyway, listen to these fucking drums. And listen to these whack-ass drums, dog.
So how do you go from that to?
Tell you how you go from that to that.
Oh shit! Unprofessional.
Yeah, what the fuck? You should leave that in there. That's fine. Who is it?
I think it's my home insurance. They're fixing some shit at my house.
You grown man. So, what was I saying?
How do you go from these drums to the other drums?
You run it through an MPC. So then you actually run it through analog gear, which is crazy. So I'll take the kick and the snare, record it through the hardware. I used the MPC 3000 for this one, which Dilla, that was his shit, right? He had his in black. I actually bought that for no ID one time, flex, for his birthday. And yeah, so you run it through and you record it in, and then you can like turn the volume up in the hardware where it's almost distorting, but it's not, and you just get it. But I spent like probably like 40 minutes trying to get it just right, like just those drums and the sound. Then you take that, record it back into Pro Tools. So this is just the version in Ableton, and it's dope. It is dope, you know what I mean? And with a really great mix, it would have sounded great, but
This doesn't have that punch.
it doesn't have the punch. And that it's that analog, that real thing. It's not just a sample pack or this or that. It's like you play it, then you run it through this hardware, record it, put it back into Pro Tools, and then your engineer, if you have a good one, destroys it and kills it.
You actually recorded a lot of this album, or all this album, on tape, right? Why was that important to you?
So what we did was, let me explain when we say tape. So we didn't actually cut vocals to tape. That's something I've always wanted to do, and I think I will do in the future, and just nobody will ever hear it. But I wanted to give it something more. You know, I just wanted to, I don't know how to explain it, and it's probably going to be hard to hear it here. But
Is it just a feel? Or can you think you can
is.
actually hear it?
Yeah, my boy Slajo, he says he has peasant ears. So he's like, when you turn up a snare a dB, which means to increase the volume, you know, just a little bit, he's like, I don't understand that shit. I just hear a snare, you know what I mean? And I respect it. That's why I actually take that into consideration when creating music. Sometimes I'm like, are we being too extra? Like, with me and Six will be like, is it really that deep? Like, and sometimes it is, you know, sometimes there's something that Six will hear this motherfucker listen to a whole mastered album and be like, yo, the hi-hat. And I'm like, bro, it's already mastered. And sometimes he's like, all right, but sometimes it's so in his heart, and I respect it, that he'll want it, like 6 years, 16 years, 60 years from now, he's gonna be like, fucking Bob, man. And it's gonna bug him, because that's how I am. There's actually one thing in here, but I don't wanna say it because it's actually not that deep, on the album that it's only one thing I feel weird about volume-wise, but I won't really get into that.
It's crazy how different producers, I know you brought up Dilla, like the stories of Dilla is after he made a beat, he would run to his car outside his studio and he would play it in the car because he always wanted to know how his beat sounded in the car.
That's dope.
And it's like every producer kind of has his thing. Like I know some producers who are like, I actually want to play it through the speakers of my computer because a lot of people aren't going to be hearing it from these $100,000 speakers that I have in my studio. So I want to hear it, how it sounds.
That's how we are. So with the master, that's how we really are. Once you master it, I listen to it on Bose headphones, on Audio-Technica headphones, on this laptop. But I mean, this laptop is like extra. This has got fucking 8 terabytes on it and a crazy system. So then I'll listen to it on another Mac, an older Mac. I'll listen to it on AirPods. I'll listen to it in my Bronco. I'll listen to it in my, you know, the Beamer. I'll listen to it in my Honda Civic. I'll listen to it everywhere. And if it sounds good, then it is. But you can typically tell from headphones mainly, like, is it good enough? And then channeling that back and forth I'll do between these speakers and go, okay, are the levels about the same as far as like the volume of the raps? Are they too loud? Are they too low? Is it too muffled? Is it too high end where it sounds kind of radio-y? Is it too low end where it sounds too bassy? Okay, now does that match in here? Okay, cool. Now how does that sound in the speakers? So these are the main things: the really good speakers, the good headphones, and then the speakers from my computer.
Tell me a little bit more about the sample process. Were you specifically looking for that kind of sample? You were in a particular mood, or were you just randomly listening to music and you heard it?
I've been looking for a sample like that for like 10 years. I'd wanted something so grandiose and so big and so dope. And, you know, I tried to find it over and over and over again, and I never got it right. You know, I probably found the sample like that a million times, but I wasn't in the headspace. You know, there's certain samples that I still go back to with Six sometimes, you know what I mean? Like Labby Cifre or whatever, and I'm trying to flip it a certain way and I just can't do it. But that's kind of what's fun about it, because you have something to wake up to every day and try.
It's forever digging.
Yeah.
There isn't like a day where you're like, oh, I'm going to go in the studio today and you're just kind of like constantly always listening to music with something in the back of you saying, hey, I wonder if I can flip this.
100%. Except for indie music. That's why I love like Toro y Moi and Mac DeMarco and Queen and, you know, all this different shit that I listen to. It allows me to escape because I have such a creative mind that when I listen to anything that's even similar to what I do or similar to what I sample, I can't really enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel that. I was a film major, so it's like when I watch a movie, I'm always thinking about like, the frame or the light, and it's like, man, sometimes I just want to enjoy a movie and not be so analytical about shit.
I agree.
Try to pick things apart.
But then typically when there's like a perfect movie or there's like a Tarantino film, or at least for me, it's just, I just enjoy it because I think it's perfect. You know what I mean?
How many tracks did you have production on this album?
I produced on Hit My Line. No, wait, did I do that? I don't know. Did I do that or no? Yo, did I? Hit My Line?
That's me.
That's Six. See, I'd be forgetting. Nah, it's me, dog. He did Growing Pains 4. But see, also the other thing is, yeah, yes. But it's like,
can you say what you said of Yes? Because I don't know if he's
it's like co-production, he said. But it's like, I'm just very fair with him, you know? So there's people, I won't name their names, in the industry that will come in and be like, use this snare, and then they'll legitimately want like 30% of the song and shit. They'll just say, hey, use this. And they don't even program it or put it in or anything, which I always thought was really weird. But with me and Six, it's kind of, because for example, for Hit My Line, I was like, oh, let's use these drums. These are crazy drums. But then he brought in the sample. But I didn't program the drums. I didn't this, I didn't that. I could have been like, I'm going to do the drums, but I didn't, because I didn't. Why? For what? For ego? To say I did that? Like, that's stupid. So, and I knew he would do those drums way better than I could. And then like Growing Pains 4, I was like, yo, let's do some elevator shit. I want to kind of redo that song. And then he found this crazy Frank Duke sample. And then we put the classic pattern, but like, yeah, and kind of did our best to enhance the kick and rim. Yeah, so I did, I co-produced Celebration with No ID. I produced Open Mic. Six and his boy produced Aquarius 3. Who did that? Graves. And then Soul Food 2 is like all of us. The second half of Soul Food 2 is me and Six. We went in together. Perfect is all Six and Keanu Beats like shit.
There's a Keanu Beats?
Yeah. And then Man I Is I did, but Six did do the drums, so it's co-production there. But
could we go into that one?
Yeah, let me, I'll just keep naming these off though. So Dad Bod was Six and Post? Yeah, damn, sick. And Post produced Everybody, the song, with me. Five Hooks was produced by me and Six. Dark Place is Toro y Moi, myself, and Kajo. A to Z is No ID. Heard Him Say is me. Amen is Six. Oh, and Tyler the Creator. And me. Yeah, because of the drums. I added those drums. Oh yeah, I did program those drums. Yeah. And then Tyler, the Creator. That was a fun one. But that was like, we sampled him. We found this really cool interview of him just playing a piano. So we like just replayed it in that thing and then hit him up and was like, hey, can we use this melody that you never used before? And he was like, cool. So that's dope. And then Obediently Yours is just amen. It's just the outro of that. Let me try to find... Yo, listen to this shit just for fun. I love this beat. It's like my most slept on beat by myself.
Is this for the cameras or not?
Yeah, it's fine. Found it. That shit is dope. My goal every time I play 6 a beat is for him to go like this.
What do you mean?
If you just give me a little smile, I know it's a good beat. Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. And all you did was this. You were like this. And then the shit dropped and you heard the pattern and you were like...
That's just me studying the shit.
I know. But I like it. I like it. Yeah. That's my guy. Okay, I found the session.
Wait, so you just played right now? It was just the random beat that you made?
Yeah, I got beats. I'll just play you some beats for fun too.
Like, how do you rap over a beat like that? Or was that would just be for like a beat tape? Where
That,
like,
no,
you just
I
want
could,
to make a beat?
motherfucker, I'll rap over anything. Yo. Hey, yo. Hey yo, this shit is dangerous. I'm feeling hella fameless. Your fucking aim shots is aimless. Bring it back, yo. The pain is I bring it. This is how we do. The second I sing it, I sling it. I bring these motherfuckers straight to ruckus like Wu-Tang, who bang. This is how we do it when I come through the one time. The motherfucking logic, the LOGIC from MD to NYC, LA back, and then we out in Tokyo, baby. And then we out in Paris like Lupe Fiasco. Yo, freestyling is so fun.
This reminds me of Ghostface.
Yeah, that's the flow. I just usually think like what inspires me to do what. I rapped on a Ghostface beat once. It's called Intrusive Thoughts. It's not out. It's basically about this dude who's like standing in line at a supermarket and he's like getting really pissed off because he's like waiting. And then he just starts like talking about like killing the cashier and kicking babies and all this fucked up shit, which is what we think of as human beings. We'll just have and be like, whoa. And at that very end of the song, here, I'll just play it for you. You can use it. I don't give a shit. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, here it is.
And then she said, are you serious? And I was like, of course, I'm doing it for the gram. What do you think? Like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, let's see. I've only got pennies here.
I just suck a dick to be famous.
Is it possible to take the rest and change? 72 cents.
I want a divorce.
73 cents.
At the supermarket, standing in line. Old bitch in front of me, taking the time. Bad bitch behind me, she fine. 15, I'll probably give her a 9. I'm next in line, spot the cashier. Put the 4-5 to his ear and fucking blast. Grab the cash and dash. Kick a baby through bulletproof glass just to watch it smash. I'm a representation of lower class, going nowhere fast. So ahead of my time, tomorrow's in the past. I've already been convicted and gassed for running up in your crib and murdering you without a mask. I'll cut my fingerprints off and shove them down your throat. Skin you alive and wear your entire body as a trench coat. When bitches fuck me, I love to get spit on and choked. Murderous when provoked. Puke blood and sniff coke. Shoot dope and slit throats. Piss in your kitchen sink, then shoot up a roller rink. Wait a minute, I'm still in line. What the fuck did I just think?
Yeah, I was gonna do this like mixtape where I just rap on everybody's beats.
Generation, switch up the style, I'm regenerating. I be talking to God when I'm hearing Satan. I'm a black member past like I'm Michael Payton. Why you think I made everybody? It's a statement, a way of life. Like it's beautiful, once a day in the this day and age, a crooked cop will take away your life. Come down and shit ain't no way of life. Now some people make music, but I make a statement and use it when people feel like they gon' lose it, yeah. Why the fuck do you think when it comes to an album, I'm dropping like 2 a year? Hold on, let me break down what I'm doing here. I get introspective on a record with a message deep in the lyrics, but after a while, that shit get depressing. They don't wanna hear it, they just wanna turn up, so that's when I come back. On that Bobby Tarantino, counting money, sipping vino shit. That's how we stay relevant to the young. Mean I'd rather be rapping on bricks, but whatever it takes to get to the young. I ain't mad at the fact when I rap over 808s with the head and make me millions. See the brilliance, like I grew up on Biggie and Jizz and Variety was bumping that Future and Thug. Give a fuck how you came up, but run up like 10 out of 10 just to show you some love. Man, as long as you rapping and killing shit, fuck a car black man on the dealership, fuck a record label, fuck a dealer shit. Keep killing shit, keep killing shit. At the crib watching Bebop, rapping.
I mean, I know you're going into retirement, but I'm starting a petition right now for Logic to drop that mixtape. So.
What, mixtape, just rapping on other people's beats?
Why not?
I mean,
That shit sounded fire.
I don't know. I don't think people want that.
One take. Yeah. I'm bringing free music back with this, leaving no one intact with this. Spill my guts on the track with this tracklist looking miraculous. Hairline looking like Dracula's. Out for blood, it's a fact I'm is. I ain't no bullshit activist. Active, I'm is no capping this. Rapping is from my mental on Young Kenny's instrumental. This shit right here, my credential essential to my potential. Girl past the brain with no dental. My lyricism sequential. The meaning is confidential, poetically exponential. I'm bringing free music back with this, leaving no one intact with this. Spill my guts on the track.
Yeah.
You got all this music, bro. You're just gonna lock it up in a vault?
Yeah. Who gives a shit?
I mean, if you make it, why not just release it? Because you didn't make it with the intention of releasing it?
I don't know. I don't think anybody really wants a free mixtape with me. I don't know. I like the idea of rapping on other people's beats because it was fun and it like brought a hunger in me. That's why my mixtapes were the way that they were, because it was like you have to rap as good, if not better, than the original person. So it was just really, it was super fun to do. But I don't know.
You can't be serious. Like, I never understood that when people are like, I got all these different tracks and they're just in a vault. And I'm like, you already did them. Like, why not just put them out to the world? It's like, Dre's got a gazillion things in the vault. Such and such has got 100. I'm like, if you don't like it, then don't put it out. But if you got it, why not just... I mean, I guess there's expectations and people are like, well, I don't know if this is as good as my album or this is just more free. But I'm like, as a fan,
I don't really give
like,
a fuck because I'm not thinking about my album when I think about this. To me, this is like raps.
Right.
This is like, yo, this is rap. You know what I mean? When I'm like, oh, my album's raps and raps, like, yeah, it's raps, but it's like poetry. This is literally like, I'm just rapping, dog. Like, and that's why I love doing it so much. But I don't know, start a petition. If motherfuckers want it, I'll just drop
I'm
it.
starting a petition. I miss mixtapes. I miss rappers rapping over dope ass beats with all the industry shit. Like that's no, I mean, I know that there was the big shutdown where they came, they took all of like Drama's mixtapes and everybody's mixtapes. And I'm like, damn, there's something about the culture. We just want to hear people have fun. It doesn't always have to be as serious as an album. Bring it back, bro.
Especially if it's free. I mean, yeah, it could be dope. All right, if you get...
I'm starting the petition. Let's go.
If you get 1 million people to sign that petition, I'll drop a free mixtape.
He said 1 million. We're going to hold him to it. 1 million signed. He's dropping that mixtape.
Fuck, what is happening?
This is happening. I just brought Logic out of retirement.
Oh, man. Not really, if it's free. Okay.
Fine.
Let's see here.